Welcome to Sports Spectrum, the sports and faith podcast that brings Jesus back into the conversation. Here's your host, Jason Romano.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Sports Spectrum. I am Jason Romano. It is Super Bowl 55 fever going on right now between Tampa Bay and Kansas City as they get set to battle off in Tampa, weirdly enough, for Super Bowl 55. And really excited today to bring in a conversation that we had just a couple days ago with Bradley Pinion. He is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers punter, and Bradley was a big part of that win on Sunday for the Buccaneers at Lambeau Field, upsetting the Packers and taking a team to the Super Bowl that is going to play a Super Bowl in their home stadium, which has never happened. I think it's actually one of the coolest things that you could do in sports in the football world is to play a game that's in a neutral stadium, supposed to be, but it actually is the home stadium, and Tampa gets to do that with this year's Super Bowl. Brad Pinion was on the show back in August of 2019, and he has an incredible testimony that everybody needs to go back and listen to. I'll put that in the show notes, that conversation that we had with Brad as he shared how God became real to him in his life. But we wanted to have him back. Once I saw that Tampa Bay, won the NFC and now it's playing in the Super Bowl, Brad Pinion was a guy on my list to talk to, and he was gracious enough to join us and return to Sports Spectrum, talk about what it was like to win the NFC Championship, to play that game at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, and all that God has been doing in his life this season on the journey all the way to the Super Bowl. So take a listen to Bradley Pinion, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers punter, joining us here today on Sports Spectrum. Brad Pinion, welcome to Sports Spectrum, buddy. Congratulations.
Appreciate you having me, man. It's an honor to be here, honor to be back, and man, truly blessed to be in the situation that I'm in right now.
I got to imagine that's a great word to use, and it's often a cliched word for so many when you say blessed. But man, you get to be in a Super Bowl with a team that just won 3 road playoff games and play the game in your home stadium. You don't even have to leave your bedroom. For the whole week, you could just practice and go home, right?
Yeah, it's truly remarkable. It hasn't sunk in yet, honestly. It's still like not sinking in. Been a whirlwind of 48 hours for sure.
Yeah, as we record this, it's just a couple days after you just won the NFC Championship. You were in Green Bay. What was that feeling like hosting that? I saw the picture you posted on Instagram holding the George Halas trophy. What was that feeling like to see that trophy, be able to hold it in the locker room and know that you're going to the Super Bowl?
Man, it was awesome. The only way I can explain it is and it's cliche, is once in a lifetime. You may not be able to go back to one of these Super Bowls
unless you're Tom Brady, unless you're Tom.
Unless you're Tom, or unless we still have Tom. But no, I'm telling you, it's still very surreal. Like I said, it hasn't really sunk in yet. Hoping it'll sink in by game day. But it's been I won't say different because of COVID, because I don't think it's COVID. I don't know if it's the first time going to the playoffs or what, but it just feels like the season hasn't ended yet. Just feels like we're just playing games. It hasn't quite felt like the playoffs to me. I don't know if that's just the good Lord providing peace, or I really can't really explain it. Even last week in Green Bay, it really didn't feel like the NFC Championship game until we really started playing the game. And then I was like, man, this one, we win this one, we're going to the Super Bowl. So it's been honestly surreal. I've had a weird peace the whole entire time, and it's just been awesome.
And playing in Lambeau, you're hoisting the George Halas trophy. If you win on Sunday in the Super Bowl, you get the Vince Lombardi trophy because it's named after that guy who in that stadium. It must have been pretty awesome just to be able to play. I mean, I'd be talking to you anyways, even if something happened and you guys didn't win, but you got to win. But playing at Lambeau Field for a trip to the Super Bowl, surreal, right?
It was surreal. I'm just glad the good Lord didn't make it snow and 3 feet of snow. And we got really fortunate to have a pretty good day in Green Bay. If
you had played a Saturday night game like you did against Washington, you would have been playing in a snowstorm, right?
Oh, absolutely. It would have been. I was talking to Mason Cosby before the game, and he said that it was 11 degrees and 20-mile-per-hour winds with snow all week long. Oh. And we just got, for whatever reason, on Sunday, we were I don't think it ever got below 28, which is a beautiful day up there at that point. The sun even came out. Yeah, the sun even came out, and the wind got no higher than 9 miles per hour, and that's a kicker's dream.
Wow. You are the punter, but you're also the man responsible for the kickoffs, and you hold field goals as well. How hard is it to kick and even to hold on to a field goal, hold on to a ball that's being snapped? Because there were some pretty important field goals that were kicked there, especially at the end by Ryan Suckup. But the cold weather, even though it was 28, it's still cold.
Yeah,
and you normally play in Tampa, and you were indoors the week before in New Orleans. So, is there a rhyme to the reason of getting used to that weather and just kind of, or do you just do it? I mean, is it harder to kick? I got to imagine it is in cold weather.
Ball's a little harder. Sometimes can get kind of flat just because of the air. It's colder air. It's more condenses the ball a little bit, so it feels a little flat. But honestly, like, they make some amazing things called hot hands nowadays, and you just keep one of those on you at all times, and you just roll with it. Honestly, you just gotta kind of honestly keep your hands a little moist, and if you keep your hands a little moist, it usually can manage, and you just gotta hope and pray that you don't drop the ball.
Do you use gloves? Do you use gloves on a hold or no gloves?
I use on my left hand. I've used the glove on my left hand all year long. Just to have a constant, honestly, instead of having to have a different surface every single game. I use a constant on that left hand. That way I know what it's going to feel like every single time. Hot, cold, rain, snow, it doesn't matter. I have a constant on that hand. My right hand, I want to be able to feel the ball a little more, especially for dropping in on punts. So I don't use it on my right hand, but my left hand, just to have that constant is kind of a reassurance.
Describe standing on the sidelines on that last drive. As the Packers were going down the field, you guys are leading by 8 points at that point, hoping and praying, of course, that Aaron Rodgers doesn't do another amazing Aaron Rodgers thing at the end of the game. But what is that like being a player? I was talking to Matthew Slater recently, and I asked him this same question when the Patriots beat the Seahawks. This is going back 5 or 6 years. And I said, you're watching and it's out of your hands, right? You're just standing there and praying and hoping and wondering what might happen. And, you're in that same situation a couple days ago. Describe that, just being a player, but not being in the game. And I got to imagine the emotions creep up just like us as fans watching, right?
Yeah, it was kind of hard, honestly, because we got to 3rd and 5, I believe is what it was. And if we don't get the first down, I'm going to have to punt the ball. So I'm kind of having to stay locked in, but at the same time having the realization that, like, okay, like, we get this first down, this game is over. So like, you have to almost having to contain that excitement and contain those emotions. Being like, all right, lock in for one more play. You're going to have one more play, lock in for one more play. And just kind of keep telling yourself that, trying to stay in the same routine that you were in all game long. So it didn't really hit me until we got that first down. And I think there was like 30 seconds left once we got the first down. So it's like we got that first down, and then I could finally breathe a little bit and kind of relax and be like, oh my God, we're going to the freaking Super Bowl. So it was kind of like I was trying to stay in my routine, but that thought kept creeping in and trying to keep that thought at bay, just so I could lock in for one more play. Because our punt team had done a tremendous job all day. We held them to 0 yards all day long on punt, and we were just trying to keep that going. And like I said, they were going to bring the house. They're going to. They have nothing to lose at that point. So being able to get the ball off quick, that was just what I was thinking in my brain. I'm going to have to get this ball off quick. I'm going to have to do this, this, and this. And then Chris Godwin ran around the outside and got the first down. And I was like, oh, my gosh, here we go.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Game time. No, the drive before was a 51-yard field goal that Suckup hit, which was a huge field goal at that point because you guys kind of had been shut down and Tom had thrown a couple picks and, Green Bay was making their comeback, and to move it from 5 to 8 was a big deal because then that meant Green Bay had to score a touchdown and had to get to 2-point conversion. And it's 51 yards in Green Bay on the road. So my question for you, Ryan, or Bradley, I should say, is when you're talking to Ryan, or are you talking to Ryan? Like in that moment when you're going out on the field and it's like, all right, field goal team, let's go. Do you say anything to him because it's Green Bay, it's Lambeau, and you're trying to, weather-wise or wind or whatever, or are you just kind of going out there and trying to do your thing?
The only words that we said to each other, and we say it before every single kick, is Ryan's a tremendous man of faith.
Yes.
And he says a little prayer before every single kick when he lines up. He said, Lord, he's basically like, Lord, give us peace, your will be done. As he's walking back, something along those lines. I'm pretty sure it's like, Lord, give us peace every single time.
Yeah.
And we both should say amen. And that was the only thing that was exchanged. He said it. We both said amen. He backed up and drilled the thing. And that's it. Like there was no words that needed to be spoken. He knew the gravity of the situation. I knew the gravity of the situation. Our long snapper knew the gravity of the situation. And so we went about our normal routine. It worked for us all year long, so there's no need to change anything.
Do you know the second he kicks something like that it's going in? Like, do you have that feeling? Like, I'm sure he has it when he's kicking it, but do you feel it as a holder?
9 times out of 10, I can tell you when he hits the ball if it's going in or not.
Is that right? Now, why is that?
Just the feel that it comes out from underneath my hand. Just that feel and the way it sounds. Whether I can see, I know what I can see out of my peripherals on his good swings. And just usually I can tell you as soon as he hits the ball based on what I've saw and what I've felt before I ever look up if it's going in or not.
Did you talk to any of your former 49er teammates? They were in the Super Bowl last year. In fact, I remember you and me texting about a few of the guys that were playing in the game last year, and now you get to be in it. It's a different situation, of course, because you're not in Miami and you're not traveling, but it's still the moment and this big, huge stage that you're going to be on. Have you talked to any of your former teammates about what that experience was like for them and maybe anything you can take over to this year for you?
Yeah, there's a lot of them that have reached out. It's been really good to hear from them. It's
good.
Guys like Nick Mullins, Raheem Mostert, Mike McGlinchey, all those guys have reached out, which has been awesome to hear from them. One guy I stay in contact with, and he's one of my best friends, is Robbie Gould. And he's called me and been like, hey, look, like it's going to be a whirlwind. You're not going to feel like you're in the Super Bowl until you're actually there playing. And just being able to hear from him, I talked to him about Green Bay before he played in Green Bay, just because he was in Chicago for so long and had to play Green Bay a bunch of different times. Just kind of get a feeling for the wind, the field, which cleats I was going to need to wear if it was snowing, just different tips and stuff like that. He's been a tremendous help throughout my whole career, honestly. But he basically just said, soak it in, enjoy the moment. They don't come around very often. He went to one, I think, like really early in his career, and it took him almost 15 years to get back to the other one. He said, soak it in, enjoy it, and just do what you've been doing all year long. Don't change anything. There's no need to put on a Superman cape. You got here because you've just done the right things day in and day out. So you can just continue to do those right things day in and day out and give it your all. And that's all you can do.
Bradley Pinion's joining us here on Sports Spectrum, NFC champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers punter. So I want to ask you, with the Super Bowl on display, obviously, it's also a chance for you to live out that faith, right? And a great platform for you to point people back to Christ. Tell me about that faith this year. Maybe what the Lord has been doing in your life this season, maybe what he's been impressing on your heart a little bit, and maybe what discipleship looked like for you, because it's a different year with COVID. It's not the same kind of Bible studies and team chapels, I'm guessing. Maybe it is, but it's probably all over Zoom. So what's this year been like from a faith perspective for you?
It's been honestly really good. Having the room that we have in Tampa with Zach Trenner and Ryan Suckup, we're all men of faith. And it's been really good just to lean on each other, to kind of like do our Bible studies and then go in and talk to each other about it. And like, hey, I'm reading this, man. What are you reading? It's been awesome, honestly. Been truly, truly a blessing to have those guys by my side this whole year. And honestly, there's just been, like I said earlier, there's just been a weird peace about everything for me this whole year. Whether something would go bad, something would go good, it's been very constant, very just peaceful. With all the outside distractions, and there's been a lot of them this year. Just having that faith to fall back on is huge, because if you don't have that faith, then things can kind of go haywire, because you kind of lose yourself. You lose your, I won't say confidence, but you lose your self-awareness. You lose that. You can be out of touch with God, and it's one of those things where it's like, as long as you stay with that in touch with God, he's going to take care of the rest. And that's really just what I focused on, spending that extra time in the Bible every single day, or just spending that extra time talking about it with my wife or with my buddies. And we have the most amazing support system there is out there. Our friends and our family, they're unreal, and truly, truly fortunate to have that in our lives. It's been a whirlwind of a season with COVID. It's been a whirlwind of a season with the playoffs. First time going to the playoffs. And I'm not going to lie, last year, after leaving San Fran, seeing them go all the way to the Super Bowl, I've rooted for them the whole entire time. But in the back of my brain, I was just like, man, like I was just there.
It's not
like
fair,
you kind of
right?
get like that envious feeling that like, man, like that could have been me. Like, man, like did I make the right decision? Like just all these things start to go through your brain.
Sure.
And kind of just the reassurance from the Lord this year is like, yeah, you made the right decision. I got your back. I always have your back. Like, just keep believing in me. Keeping your focus on me, and I'll handle the rest. And that's just kind of like been my motto this year, is keep the focus on him, let him handle the rest, and the chips fall where they may.
We talked to Clyde Christensen on this show as well, just recently, after you guys won the NFC Championship. And what a great man of faith he is. And certainly he's been on this show before. And he's just an encourager for me. He's like a team chaplain when you really look at him, even though he's a quarterback coach. I say to people, he's like a team chaplain disguised as a quarterback's coach when you really think about the way that man is. What is a guy like that and others? Because there's a coach's study he was telling us about that's going on too. So you guys got some real strong men of faith that are leading from above. That's got to be an encouragement for you as a player, I would imagine.
Oh, it's huge. I had guys like Clyde, Duke Preston, played in the league for a while. He's our player engagement. He's a huge man of faith. You got guys like Randall L. Foote. There's just so many coaches of faith in our building that it's awesome. They kind of have the Zoom Bible studies and the Zoom chapels that we've had this year with different people, and you'll still have 30 guys in there, including coaches. And it's honestly just, you can kind of feel the presence of the Lord on this team. And it's really, really, really cool to feel.
I looked it up. Tom Brady has had 2 career punts in his life. 2003 at a 36-yarder. 2013 he had a 32-yarder. So I'm wondering, because this is now your teammate here, does he bring this up when he talks about his punting ability when he's having a conversation with you, Brad?
Absolutely not. No, I would shoot it. Knowing him, he could probably punt the ball better than me. That dude's incredible. But even still, as much of a GOAT as he is, you'd never know it. Never know it. He's such a humble attitude about him, and such a humble presence, and a very much of a servant leader. That you just feel like you're playing with another Joe Smo, honestly. But it's Tom Brady. And he's honestly just one of the best dudes you'll meet. And just
awesome
loves to win and loves football, and heck of a competitor and one heck of a quarterback.
Do you ever tell him that I'm sure everybody does this, but you were 7 years old when the Patriots beat the Rams and he won his first Super Bowl? You were 7. You're not 7 anymore.
That one hasn't come up yet. But
there's got to be guys younger than you that were probably like 3 or 4 years old, I would imagine, right?
At this point, let's see, I'm 26. So I know there's a few guys on the team younger than me.
It's incredible what he does. I mean, I'm so glad you brought up his leadership, because Clyde said the same thing to me. He said, this guy's all about serving others. And you'd think, there's actually a Jesus characteristic to that when you think about Jesus as a leader. But when you watch Tom Brady, you think, no, he's the GOAT. Everybody serves him. But that's not what you're seeing, huh?
No, not at all. Doesn't expect anything but the best out of you. Doesn't think of anything more, anything less. Very encouraging. Very willing to give advice and to give help and to be coached, actually. He's always trying to learn something. And honestly, just kind of like, you see the way he goes about his business, and you see the way that he conducts himself day to day. And you learn from just watching that, honestly. And then being able to come by you and be like, hey, you're doing a great job this year. Or, hey, like, just different things. Like, you can tell he's been around it for forever, and you can tell that he knows how to do it. And it's impeccable to watch, because as a punter or a kicker, you just get to watch a lot. It's impeccable to watch, and he's something else, man. He is something else. It's hard to explain until you see it, honestly, because you hear about him being a culture changer, and you hear about all this stuff, and I was like, yeah, it's just one dude. Like, surely he can't. Surely he can't. But he got here, and it's amazing how one man can have such an impact on an organization, not just a football team, but the whole organization. It's truly impeccable.
That's awesome. Bradley Pinion, you've been our guest here on the Sports Spectrum podcast, and so good to talk to you. So good to see you, my friend. Leave us with this. Leave us with maybe just some encouragement. Maybe, I know you kind of shared a little bit about what the Lord's been doing in your life, but just some encouragement. Maybe it's a Bible verse, something that the Lord's been kind of showing you, especially you talked about that peace. Maybe that's the encouragement of, for our listeners, those who love Jesus and love sports, certainly love football.
Yeah, so there's a psalm that's kind of been stuck in my head all year long. It's Psalms 27. It's a popular one. Just that the Lord will give you that strength. He'll give you that peace. He'll give you that wisdom. And that's my prayer before every single game. The national anthem goes on. I bow my head and I pray. I pray for our country. I'll pray for my family, my friends, and that everything I do glorify the Lord, but not with my own strength, but with the strength of Him. I can't do it on my own strength. I'm not strong enough, nowhere near strong enough. So I just pray that the Lord give me His strength, His guidance, and His wisdom. And He's done just that. Every single time I've asked, He's done just that. And perfect example is honestly the Saints game where we had 2 punts at the very beginning, almost returned for touchdowns. Yeah. And after trying to make the tackle on the second one, I kind of was just like basically sitting on the field and was like, Lord, like, I need you. Like, we're not going to be able to do this one by ourselves at all. We never can. And I was walking to the sideline. I felt this just odd, like I said, odd peace. It was like, Lord's like, I got you. Don't worry. And sure enough, the Lord had us. And that's just kind of been the theme all year long, like that peace and that wisdom and that strength that comes from the Lord. It's been truly awesome.
That's cool. Brad, thanks, buddy. Thanks for coming on. Enjoy this next week as we record this the week before the Super Bowl. And good luck and all the best for you on Sunday. I'll be rooting for you, Super Bowl 55. And thanks for joining us, man. Hopefully I'm calling you back in a couple weeks and we want to talk about you winning the Super Bowl. So
let's do it. Let's mark it on the calendar.
Be pretty cool. That's awesome. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's good stuff there from Bradley Pinion, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers punter. And they're playing Super Bowl 55. It's coming up on Sunday, February 7th. And we're really excited for that game, watching Tom Brady go against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and the Buccaneers playing for all the marbles at Super Bowl 55 in Tampa with Tampa against Kansas City. It should be a great game. Really looking forward to that. February 7th is also a big day for Sports Spectrum and our brand because we have our Football Sunday broadcast happening in churches around the country. If you don't know what Football Sunday is, well, go to footballsunday.com. It's a film that Sports Spectrum produces every single year. It gets shown in church at church services around the country, but it's also a program that you can buy and purchase and have for yourself as well on Super Bowl Sunday. And I think it's a great idea if you're considering hanging out with a few people, certainly pandemic and socially distanced and, quarantining, do that as well. But maybe you can watch Football Sunday. I know a team chaplain with an NFL team that's purchasing Football Sunday and going to show it with a bunch of friends on Zoom and then discuss what is seen. And this year's Football Sunday 2021 program is going to be fantastic, featuring Carson Wentz from the Eagles, Brandon Cooks from the Houston Texans, and former NFL linebacker Sam Acho, all sharing their God stories, their Jesus stories to you during Football Sunday 2021, and then some poignant conversations on how the Lord is working during all this social justice movement. It's going to be discussed on Football Sunday's 2021 program. So we want to encourage you to check it out. Go to footballsunday.com. You can order it. You can subscribe. You can purchase Football Sunday 2021 for your church, for your small group. And I promise you, you will be encouraged in God and seeing what's happening in the football world and what's happening to these players from a faith perspective and how Jesus is working. So it's going to be pretty cool. Check out footballsunday.com. And then get ready for Super Bowl 55 as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs battle it out for Super Bowl supremacy in the 2020 NFL Championship. Again, thanks to Brad Pinion. Make sure you're watching the punter of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl Sunday. And remember that he loves Jesus. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time right here on Sports Spectrum. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.